So good evening, everyone. Let's get started. It's a minute after 7, so I'll call the meeting to order. Let's do a pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. I'll do a roll call. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 council members, so it's full house. I see the city administrator. Is the city attorney with us in the ether?
Drew Gambles?
Yes, I am.
Yep.
Hey, Drew, how are you this evening?
I'm good. Nice to see you all.
All right. That's our roll call. First, we got a community segment, and so I'm going to turn it over to Chief Van Voorhis and Nick from BVAC, right? Are you doing it, or is someone else? He's going to start?
Gary's going to kick it off.
All right. Thank you.
All right. First of all, thank you very much. This is a rewarding, very happy occasion tonight to get our agencies together. Tonight we're going to recognize and commend our EMS personnel. We could commend them for a life-saving event. The City of Beacon is very fortunate to have like a 4-tier system when we have a tragic event going on. You get the Beacon Fire Department, which the firefighters, the career firefighters are EMTs. You get the ambulance, paramedic, life service, that's an advanced life supports service, and you get Beacon Volunteer Ambulance Company, that is also a basic life support service, but also it brings on the police with that. So with that, we're very happy tonight. I'm going to read the scenario. I'm going to introduce our people from the Beacon that were on the scene of this incident, and then we're going to have a member from ambulance and BVAC come up and do the same. So on Tuesday, May 31st at 3:36 p.m., the City of Beacon Fire Department, Beacon Medic 1, BVAC, were dispatched for a 14-year-old male unconscious and possibly not breathing. Within 3 minutes of dispatch, members arrived on the scene and found a male laying next to a swimming pool, unresponsive, not breathing, and pulseless. Firefighters initiated CPR while the City of Beacon Medic 1 began ALS interventions. One shock was delivered from an AED. After pulse checked, the patient had returned to a spontaneous circulation, maintaining a blood pressure and a heart rate on his own. The patient was stabilized for transport and loaded into the ambulance. The City of Beacon Medic 1 transported ALS with BVAC members on board to St. Luke's. The City of Police also assisted at the scene with crowd control and scene safety for us. And we're happy tonight to say that this young gentleman is 100% back, survived from this incident. So tonight I'm going to recognize 2 members that were on that incident. Mayor, if you'd come up here, please. So our 2 members tonight are Lieutenant Robert Simmons, Jr. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Brian Berry.
Thanks.
And then I'm also presenting a certificate to Lieutenant Robert Simmons, Jr. and to firefighter Brian Berry for exemplary medical life-saving skills. Thank you. Truly, thank you.
Hi, I'm Mike Wachowski from Ambulance. I'm the Chief of Operations for Ambulance New York. And we also would like to present our members that were on the scene. Sean Halpern, who's not here, he's in Georgia. And Joseph Fortis, who was also on the scene. Your Lifesaver Award. Sorry.
It's a pretty box.
Yeah, but this is better. On behalf of us, congratulations.
Thank you.
Just stand.
On behalf of I'm a paramedic with the New York City Fire Department. I have 30 years with FDNY.
I'm our leader for our FDNY competition team, and Joe's practiced so hard. So our team and the New York City Fire Department would like to award him pre-hospital safe. And I have more for your partner who is with you, and congratulations. We know you guys work so hard to do what you do every day, and you're my hero.
So if I could get a representative from the City Council, the City of Beacon Fire Department, and Beacon Volunteer Ambulance. Without all of these people together, we would not be able to perform these services. From the City Council, thinking ahead to putting ALS in the city and contracting it, these services would be coming from places other than the City of Beacon. Now the city has an ALS unit servicing right in the City of Beacon. We're doing this in conjunction with Beacon Volunteer and the City Fire Department, so this life-saving award goes to all of the agencies together. So this is for Beacon, EVAC, Fire, and thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Good evening. First off, thanks for the mayor, city council, fire chief for allowing this to happen. Thanks, Gary, for making this happen for us. Again, this was a tragic situation that was reversed, and we're all just grateful that the outcome was as successful as it was. So I'm here to commend and recognize some of our people from the Beacon Volunteer Ambulance. If you guys can come on up. So first off, EMT Sean Boyle. Second, EMT Joseph Krieger. EMT Robert Kirshner. Last but certainly not least, EMT Mark Swain. And the plaques read, Life-Saving Award presented to the EMT in recognition of your courageous and life-saving actions on May 31st, 2022. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Mayor, can we do a quick photo?
Yeah.
Not to you. All right. Wonderful, thank you. Congratulations.
You all set, Nick? You good? Okay. Yeah, I just want to reiterate the thanks for the immense effort that you all put in. The city is eternally grateful, whether it's the volunteer efforts or the paid efforts and the coordination that we're doing. I know that the ambulance service is new. We put money not only in the budget for that, but also to support BVAC, and we are just forever grateful. So it's just humbling to listen to the story when it turns out okay. So thank you.
And we're so thankful that we paved your driveway and parking lot today.
You can get out now?
I know I had to get that done today.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you all. So next is public comments. As you know, we have 2 opportunities for public comments, and you get up to 3 minutes. And we're going to give people an opportunity to exit politely, and then we'll start up.
We literally just finished their parking lot today. Yeah.
blood a couple months ago. Yeah.
So first on the list for public comments is Tom DeCastro. Come on up, Tom.
Tom DeCastro, 8 Duncan Street, lifelong lifelong resident of Beacon. Just here to give you some of my rants. Grew up here, saw it go downhill, saw it come back, and not too happy what I see. I drive around the city every day, just about, and see a lot of things on Main Street, on various streets, and I just want to come here and rant about them. The first one is the camper that's in the Church Street parking lot. Been there for over a week. Pop-up camper. I first saw it the day after Spirit of Beacon Day, and there was somebody sleeping in it. It was up. There was a bicycle there with a drink on it, and there was garbage all around the camper. No vehicle in front of it, just parked there. And then I don't know if somebody told them, but they put the camper down, but it's been there all week. And I know there's codes against it, and I'd like to see something done. If it was a vehicle, it probably would have been impounded by now. Stop signs. Many of them going up in Beacon. Very few people actually stop at stop signs. I had a guy the other day up by my street there, never even slowed down, probably going 30, 40 miles an hour through the stop sign. I know it's a bad intersection, so I always slow down there. There's been a couple of T-bone accidents there. If you're putting them up to slow people down, then make them yield signs. Because to stop every block on a few of these streets is a pain. If you look, there's not that much traffic, and I don't understand the logic for all of these stop signs. And enforce it. Put some people out there. I don't know, do we have a traffic enforcement squad in Beacon? Because we need one desperately, believe me. U-turns on Main Street. People's looking for a parking spot. They're going that way. There's a parking spot over there. They stop, make a 3-4 point turn, block all the traffic just so they can get a parking spot, and go around the block, turn around and come back. Again, no enforcement. Though I don't think it's illegal right now. There should be signs on Main Street, no U-turns. Somebody's going to get hurt. Another pet peeve of mine is people opening their doors up in traffic on Main Street, mostly, getting a child out on the driver's side of the car. So now everybody's got to stop. That's against the law also. To open your car door up in traffic is against the law.
15 seconds.
That's me? Oh, I better hurry up.
That's the wizard.
That's a major one, though, because they're getting a child out of the car with the doors open. Tragedy waiting to happen. Bicycles all over Beacon. Good thing. People are lazy, though. They're getting the battery-operated bicycles. But half of them aren't following the laws. They have to follow motor vehicle laws, and they don't do it. They wrong direction on the street. No stop signs. No traffic lights. Somebody's going to get hurt.
Your time has elapsed.
Got one last one?
I got a few more, but I'll try to make them real quick. Just kick me out when you want
all right.
to.
Do be quick.
To me, there should be no bicycles on Main Street. Put them on the parallel streets on the side there. It would eliminate a lot of problems. And I absolutely think we need foot patrols in Beacon. I know there are some of the council members that are against them because the police officers are carrying weapons. Well, that's their job. Not saying, and if it scares somebody, then the parents should be talking to the kids and telling them what it's all about. But you need them to stop a lot of these things that are going on in Main Street. And crosswalks. That's my last one. People don't even look. They're on their cell phones or talking to each other. Don't even walk. They walk right in front of traffic. And if there's a sign there and you put a lot of the signs up that tell them not to walk or to walk, they pay no attention to them. That's
All
it.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, would you entertain a question? Can I ask a quick question?
I find it out of the ordinary, but it's a pretty quiet meeting.
Well, how long ago was the camper at Churchill?
The day it was started, I saw it the day after Spirit of Beacon Day.
Okay, so
And
we,
it's still there.
okay, we had that removed once, so I just wanted to check.
It's folded up now, but it's still there.
Well, we'll make,
Park crooked, taking up the spot.
we'll take care of it, Tom. Thanks.
Clark Gepin?
Okay, well, that was 4 minutes and 17 seconds, but who's complaining? But, you know, let me just start out positive. Those firemen are great. You know, my dad, actually, his grandmother was a governess to the owner of A.T. Stewart, the mill. And his father was the first fireman to get a speeding ticket on a motorized fire engine. It was published in the papers. You can look it up. So they do a great job, and I just hope that their medical benefits, their insurance benefits, are at least equal to, if not superior to, all the other, along with the police and the fire. I mean, these people put their lives in danger every day. And if you really want to show appreciation, I'm not challenging your integrity, but I think one beautiful thing would be for the city of Beacon to pass a resolution that emergency workers, firemen, policemen, EMTs of New York City are allowed to live in the city of Beacon. And I think you should pass a resolution asking the mayor to do that. It's a little unfair that Dutchess County has been eliminated from that. And more importantly, comes the issue of the status of our safety as a nation, as Europe embarks on a discussion about the most feared of war, which is a great parallel and lead to literally every single message I've given this council for the last 20 years. Having a friend at one of the major banks call me, and his brother had died. I knew him a month later. It was Halloween, 2 days before Halloween, calls me and says, I know your brother might know the answer to this, but am I safe? And you can look at my brother if you want to see it. But one thing that he did ask or tell me, and then I corresponded with Ray Kelly, my wife's colleague, before he was police commissioner, and I warned him about the things and observations of what my brother expected and what didn't happen and what did. And two of the things were ventilation systems and bathrooms that could easily absorb and push bad stuff around the air in the building. And the other was a suitcase nuclear bomb. That's a matter of record
15
and
seconds.
published. So when we talk about what is Beacon's role, what is Beacon's role in the safety and the economic security of the state? And there was, I'm going to take just a minute longer. Thank you, Mayor. When we were, my wife, we were having a baby in Lenox Hill, and we lived in Brooklyn, and the bridge was closed down when the plane went down after 9/11 in the Rockaways. We couldn't move off Brooklyn. Neither do I think if there's an incident in New York City that you won't be able to go to Connecticut, you won't be able to go to New Jersey, and where else will you go? On feet. Now, I'm not being crazy here. What I am saying is there's a rank-size responsibility the city of Beacon has to its development, to its tax base that is secure and sustainable, and I don't believe we've given enough attention to it.
Thank you. That's everyone who's on the sign-up list. Anyone else in the public out here who'd like to make a comment this evening? Okay. Anyone, Ben, online? Oh, good night.
If you're if you're on Zoom and you'd like to make a comment, please use the raise hand option at the bottom of your Zoom screen. If you are on a phone, you can press *9, and you will need to press *6 to unmute once called upon. Finally, if you're watching on YouTube, you will need to join the Zoom by visiting beaconny.gov. Right now, we have no hands raised on Zoom.
So I just want to, thank you, Ben. I just want to clarify that 3 minutes is our standard time. This does not set a precedent. It's a pretty easy night, so. Okay. Reports from council. Who wants to go first?
I will. I don't have any report tonight.
All right. We started here. Let's go this way now.
Okay, I'll keep it short and brief. Keep an eye on the city's website. I'm planning to have another ward meeting in the month of November, and I will update you on when that is. In the meantime, if you'd like to just book an appointment with me, you can go to linktr.ee/Justice McCray, and you can find the link to book an appointment with me whenever I'm available, as well as multiple resources, including vaccine information and the link to the city's recreation survey, which is still also on the city's website. If you go to beaconny.gov, it's at the top of the website, and you can take the survey to vote for the future of the recreation in the city of Beacon. And that is all I have for tonight.
Thanks, Justice. Thanks for the reminder about the recreation survey. Just to reiterate, I hope those who haven't taken get a chance to take it before it closes down, probably in the next couple of weeks. I had some office hours yesterday and got a chance to walk Main Street again. It was a very busy fall weekend, not surprising with the beautiful weather we were having, and I did a little bit of trash collection. I'm happy to report that our new trash receptacles are going really well. It seemed like things were mostly clean. I'll talk a little bit about, we have some hot spots going on that I've kind of shared with the city and have some thoughts, but otherwise I think things are going well. A couple of things I did notice, there were two that actually had what looked like household trash in them. So a reminder that if you don't currently have a trash receptacle, you can actually contact our building department at 845-838-5020, and they can come out and check. So you can call during off hours, but might not be able to get back to you until during the week. Also the building department and the highway department, the highway department and Chris have been working well on the kind of the hot spots that we have, and I appreciate the partnership with that and bringing in the new bins and thoughts around how we can continue to improve things. And I appreciate the highway department is busy right now with milling and paving that I'm sure Chris will update us on, but I had a couple of streets close to me, and it was great to see the work getting started and looking forward to it continuing. And I'll pass it over to Dan.
All right. Thanks. Okay, so on November 20th, we'll be hosting a Ward 4 community meeting. I'll be joined by County Legislator Yvette Valdez-Smith. That's November 20th from 11 to 1 at the Memorial Building, and you can come and bring any issue or anything that's important to you. I'll be soliciting ideas and feedback from the public as well on safe streets. So any issue related to safe streets, whether it's cycling paths you want to see, sidewalks that need repaired, new sidewalks, whatever it may be, definitely want to get your feedback on that. So that's November 20th, 11 to 1 at the Memorial Building. A reminder for the public that we have a general election coming up on Tuesday, November 8th. Early voting begins on Saturday, October 29th, and goes through Sunday, November 6th. The times vary each day. You can see it on the Board of Elections website. The nearest polling station during early voting is the Fishkill Town Hall on Route 52. And then last, I just wanted to say that I'm really excited for next Monday's meeting because we'll be hosting German exchange students who will be coming from Germering, Germany, which is one town over from where my wife is from. My family is hosting a German exchange student that I'll be picking up from the airport next Sunday, and they'll be with us for 2 weeks, so it's really exciting. So if you hear some more German being spoken in Beacon soon, you know why. Thanks.
That's great, Dan. So County Legislator Yvette Valdez-Smith also gave us the heads up that the county has released the housing trust funds. So I'll be looking forward to taking a look at that along with all of you. And good news, the DEC announced that the Conservation Advisory Committee's application with our Fishkill Creek Watershed Alliance application was successful to take part in the PACE Lula Institute training. Lula stands for Land Use Institute. Law Academy. So that's very exciting, and huge thanks to the CAC chair, Sergei Krasikov, who will be attending the trainings. And thanks to Commissioner Osborne for his letter of support, the East Fishkill CAC Chair Brent Feldweg and Emily Vale from the Hudson River Estuary Alliance. Very exciting. That's all from me. And I do continue to hold office hours on Wednesdays, so just reach out via email if you'd like to schedule something. wlongno@beaconny.gov. Thanks.
Hi guys, we have a short agenda, so I have kind of a long council report, if you don't mind. I had my office hours this past weekend at Memorial Park. Sadly, the last weekend that Ron's Ice Cream was open, but I got my ice cream in. Pleased about that. But it generated a few PSAs that I thought I'd try and pass along to the public here. Our park restroom schedule is that the public restrooms are meant to be open through the end of the month, and the intention is for them to be open for more or less the same hours of the park itself, from dawn till dusk. However, due to occasional staff scheduling conflicts, they might open a little late or close a little early, and so thank you for your patience, and please plan your kids' pee accordingly if you can. If you are having issues with your apartment, whether that is pest issues or general living concerns, we have an excellent new building inspector named Bruce Flower. Please be nice to him. He just started, but you can reach him and send concerns to building@beaconny.gov. As Molly mentioned, that phone number is 845-838-5020. The building department keeps regular office hours, but you can expect a response at some point. The solar, somebody who works for a solar company came by and reminded me that 30% of the cost of installing solar on your home can be paid for through the Inflation Reduction Act. Just a slight encouragement to please take advantage of some of these green infrastructure incentives that the federal government has just made available to us. And speaking of the federal government, the student loan application, forgiveness application just was released this weekend. You can go to studentaid.gov to fill out the initial application. It takes less than 3 minutes. I did it this afternoon. If you apply by November 15th, you should expect a response before the end of the student loan payment pause at the end of the year, but you are allowed to apply through the end of next year, 2023. If you're an individual who makes less than $125,000 a year, or a household that makes less than $250,000 a year, you should qualify for this. There are a bunch of other considerations there, but you can find out more at studentaid.gov. A survey that will actually take you more like 20 minutes, but is very well worth the time, is that recreational needs study. Take it, please, soon. The signs around the park, I think, were really helpful. A lot of people appreciated that there were reminders in our recreational resources reminding people that there is a recreational needs study. So thank you for whoever put those up. I was approached last month by a Beaconite who does work with currently and formerly incarcerated people, asking if the city would support clean slate legislation on the state level. Clean slate is a common sense policy that says that once you have served your time for a crime that you have committed and have gone through the judicial system and also have several years of a clean parole record, that you should not continue to be penalized through discrimination for a past crime. There are exceptions for sexual offenders, around gun licensing, around police officer job applications, and around federal job security checks. However, even with all of those exceptions, that means that 600,000 people across the state who have finished serving their time and have clean probation records would have their records either sealed and potentially expunged, ending what is called perpetual punishment and allowing them to become fuller participants in society, which has compounding benefits for every community. This is a resolution that I would support, and I'd like to see the council take up and voice our support for as well, if we all agree. I also took some time recently to first a thanks. I wanted to thank all of our city employees that have been doing a lot of work to put into planning the budget for 2023. If you watched our workshop last week, you know what great work our city is doing, and appreciate all the work being put into the planning for next year. However, this prompted me to go back to the goals that we set for ourselves at the beginning of this year, and I'd like to circle back to a few items, and I will also email this to just help us all keep track. Public safety and police reform. We haven't yet heard from our police advisory committee about what they've been doing for the last year and what recommendations they have for the coming year, and I'd still love to hear from them. We had put on the calendar for this fall reviewing the progress on the Main Street Access Committee recommendations. I'm particularly interested in the Pilot Bicycle Boulevard and the bike lane loop that were considered and suggested by them. We also had a little bit of a vague note that said climate goals and detailed plan of how to meet them. We've just started a discussion of stormwater management. We started a discussion of regulations on small motor equipment. And I'd also like to see us move forward on supporting Greenway Trail easements. And I'd also like to have a discussion on ways in which the city can be encouraging the rest of the community on any new construction that puts our goals that we have set, for example, our almost all-electric firehouse, on par with the rest of the new construction that's happening in the city. Lastly, last Monday was Indigenous Peoples Day, and November 1st marks the beginning of National Native American Heritage Month. You'll may remember that occasionally I will, in my council reports, remind us all that we live on the unceded homelands of the Mohican, Munsee, Lenape, Schaghticoke, and Wappinger people. When I say that, that is short of an official land acknowledgement, though it's true. And I would like to see us circle back to the idea of putting together a proper official city land acknowledgement at some point. Thank you.
Okay. Mine are very brief. We had a glorious fall weekend these past 2 days, and it was just a reminder of how pleasant it can be. We were, you know, a lot of people were down at the Pumpkin Festival, which is always a joy, and I just wanted to point out what a pleasure it was to be out this weekend. The only other item I've got is a proclamation. We got a request from the 50th reunion class of 1972, and so I've just got a proclamation for them. I don't know if there's anyone here from there. That's what I was wondering. And I'll just give you the highlight of it, and I'll present it to you, which is, it basically says, whereas the members of the Beacon High School class of 1972 gathered together on September 30th through October 2nd of this year to celebrate their 50th class reunion. There's some more information about your class, and you know, just to kind of wrap it up, they've gone on to own businesses, create nonprofit organizations, to work as civil servants, educators, and artists, and therefore, therefore, as mayor, I do so proclaim the weekend of September 30th through October 2nd of 2022, the Beacon High School class of 1972 weekend in the city of Beacon, and extend thanks on behalf of the whole community for the many contributions members of this class have made to the city over these past 50 years. I will, if you want to come up, I'll present it to you. All right.
Us old-timers.
I'm a year behind you. Let me just give you a clue. Thanks. Now, who you are?
Marianne Monto. My son's a detective here. My son's Trevor Ward.
Oh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. My older brother had his 50th this year, and apparently I'm not far behind. So, thank you. All right.
Lee, if you're Doug, can I just make one announcement?
Of course.
On the 30th of this month, on Sunday the 30th, the Howland Cultural Center will be honoring Florence Northcutt for her service from 4 to 6. Florence has been, I was on the board for of the Howland for a number of years, and she is truly the heart and soul of the Howland Cultural Center and has kept that place ticking and moving along, and it's as much of the success of that place is due in part to Florence's great effort. So from 4 to 6, if you want to stop by and show your appreciation to Florence, please do. Thanks.
All right. Thanks. Good night. Okay. City Administrator, anything?
We started milling today, which is taking the top layer of the street off so that we could prepare for repaving. This morning and afternoon, we got through Arkella Drive, Eliza Street, Buchanan Street, and North Elm Street. Unfortunately, Molly, we didn't get to Willow, but tomorrow we will. We're doing 24 streets, and the list is on our website. Tomorrow will be Willow, Bayview, Kitteridge Place, Stratford Place, Dennings Avenue, and Hudson Avenue. And I think if we get to it, Harborview Court, or that will go the following day. So again, if you go to our social media pages or the website, it has the full list. We hope to be done by next Monday or Tuesday, to be followed with repaving and then restriping. And again, this is about twice the volume of streets that we normally do, and we had leftover money from during COVID that we're putting to good use. So thanks for your patience as we do this construction. That's all I have.
All right. So we got a couple of local laws. Let's see if we can do those. The first one is amendments to the 2022 operating budget. Chris, why don't you introduce them, and then we'll get the motion in second. Is that all right?
Okay, great. So we have two budget items that we talked about in workshop yesterday, last week. The first is $95,000 being moved out of our contingency fund to cover fire overtime. And we'll talk a little bit more about this next week when we do the fire budget, but we've had a number of people that have been injured. We've had a lot of loss of time due to COVID, and it's basically hit our budget for overtime. As many of you know, we've proposed in next year's budget to add another firefighter to help cover some of these extended outages of people. So we would be moving $95,000 from contingency to overtime. The second are amendments related to chemicals that we use for our water filtration and our wastewater treatment. So we'd like to move $30,000 from the contingency to chemicals for the water fund, and then the second one, the G fund, is the wastewater fund, and that's $55,000 from contingency to chemicals. And we do use more chemicals for wastewater to stabilize the sludge, to keep the smells down, and also to disinfect the water that goes back into the Hudson. So that's a total of $85,000 being moved from the two funds contingencies to chemicals.
So can I get a motion and second to do both of these together?
Motion.
Second.
All right. That was Justice and Wren, I think?
Yes.
Was it? Yep. And it was for overtime coming from the contingency fund of fire of $95,000, and then also chemicals going from the contingency fund to water and sewer. Any discussion? And again, we discussed this last week, right? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. And then the second one, I will look for a motion to set a public hearing on the 2023 budget.
Motion.
Second.
And that's Molly and Paloma, and we're setting it for the...
November 7th,
Okay.
I believe, which is the next available public comment session.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone
Aye.
opposed? All right. I don't know if we're ready for this. Are we ready for minutes approval? Okay, so let me take a risk. I'm looking for a motion and a second to approve the minutes of October 3rd.
I dread this part of the meeting. I do.
Well, after the meeting being set for 9 p.m. earlier today, I think we can't go downhill from here.
Okay, good. Thanks for rubbing that in.
But I haven't had a motion yet, or a second.
Motion.
Second.
The same pair as the last one, I think.
Molly
Any
and Ren.
discussion?
It was Molly and Ren.
Molly and Ren.
Oh, the one before the last one. All right, we're going back and forth, right?
No, it was Molly and Paloma before, and then it was Justice and Ren before.
I'm off today.
Don't worry, Mayor, I got it.
Okay, glad somebody's,
It'll be correct in the minutes in 2 weeks.
and if not,
we'll correct it.
we'll correct it, that's right. So we'll put the Easter egg in there somewhere.
I had a question about the minutes, and this is a general thing, I just noticed it. In the executive session, I know when we verbally say it, we have to say a reason we're going into executive session, but it's not in the minutes, so I didn't know if we had to be capturing the reason in the minutes or not.
This is a legal question.
It is a
Drew,
legal
this is
question.
your moment.
Drew.
Yes, I would recommend that the minutes reflect just the general reason that that the city council entered into executive session. That's it. No more details are required, just a general statement about what the reason was.
And so I believe that reason was for legal advice.
Yes.
Okay.
Ben, can you please add that to the minutes?
Yes, I can.
Notwithstanding that one change, which we just did by acclamation. Any other comments? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? There is a second opportunity for public comment. I see the throngs in the physical meeting, but I don't see any raised hands. Ben, is there anyone out in the electronic universe?
None of our attendees have their hands raised.
Okay. So the last item is I will look for a motion and second to enter executive session to discuss personnel?
Union negotiations.
Union negotiations.
Motion to go into executive session to discuss union negotiations and do no further public business thereafter.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Okay.
Do no further public business after that. I think that's been the most concise version.